I won't shut the fuck up. It is always telling me how awful I am, how fat I am, and how unworthy I am. And I fucking had enough. But the best part is I don't actually have to listen to this mean voice inside my head anymore. But now comes the hard part. Clearing up all of its mess and getting rid of every single fucked up word it has ever spoken to me. This is my therapy, my way of healing and sharing all I have learned over the last few years. So enjoy my fucked up thoughts. Is it possible to love my body? Is it possible to love my body as it is right now, in all of its fucked up glory? I never thought so. Hating my body was a full-time job, and it regularly went into overtime, and all weekend it was basically 24/7. It simply wasn't good enough. Not for me and not for those who had to look at me. Now, this podcast isn't going to rehash all of that. I've certainly shared plenty already about that certain topic. But I want this podcast to reflect where I'm at now and how I got here. So how did I manage to go from so much self-loathing and hatred to kindness and understanding? How did I begin to realize there was more to me than what my body looked like? Life is for learning. I never liked learning in the educational institution type way. I believed I was not smart enough, so I just never really tried. And parcel that with how I felt about myself and my body in general, then the outcome was, it was always going to be less than ideal. It has taken until I'm in my 40s to understand that learning, it comes from more than what is taught to us in school and in university. Life is about learning who you are as a person, so you can then apply that to the life you are living. Every life is unique. Schools, unfortunately, teach us as if we are all the same, that we must look the same, act the same, live the same. And if you don't fit into that ideal world and that ideal mold built by some sadistic fuck who cares nothing for people and their individual needs, then you become an outcast. You're different, you're weird. Add in any other hurtful description used for those who choose not to bend and break themselves to fit, or those that do everything in their power to bend and break so as to fit in with everyone else but just can't seem to do it. That was me way back when. It was exhausting trying to be some other version of myself. I never did quite fit, and no other version was able to either. Loving ourselves as we are, it's not an easy task. In fact, it can be quite challenging. The amount of times I thought that I was there, like I got there, it's immeasurable. I'd be going about my wonderful day and living a wonderful life, feeling wonderful and being the person I always wanted to be so badly, and then boom, I was just knocked off my wonderful axis and thrown to the ground with a terrifying force. And for me, whenever I was knocked down, it seemed to be all my body's fault. That was my default diagnosis as to why my life was as shitty as I believed it to be. My body was fat, therefore I didn't deserve the life that I wanted. So it was just swiftly taken away. And it wasn't my body's fault at all. My body was only being my body. It was the weakness, the hatred, the self-loathing, the anxiety, and the depression that should have been held responsible. It was the meanness of my shitty voice, that was truly to blame. It was the love never received that made all of that happen in the first place. All right, so let's get into how I have managed to bring kindness and understanding back into my body, which has culminated in the growing sensation of love. And trying to put all of that down in a step-by-step instruction is going to be a little tough. It has been a little tough. I say this because I have figured out what works for me from a multitude of sources, taking a sliver of guidance, direction, counsel, pointers, lessons, help, ideas, opinions, wisdom, knowledge, enlightenment, information, and mentorship from each and every teacher brought into my awareness. There have been many. Some I resonate with, and some I just take a little bit of what I need in the moment and leave the rest be. I was always looking for that one person or that one thing that was going to change it all. I did find that one thing. It was me. All along, I was the one I was looking for. I just couldn't do it alone. And in times of growth and change, the information we seek, it can come in many forms. But ultimately, we are the only ones who can absorb that information into the very being of who we are, profiting from words of inspiration and accepting the high quality of what has been echoed into our emotional guidance system. When information is shared to us by someone, this information is going to be interpreted differently by every person that hears it. And the words spoken come with their own backstory from the person speaking them. They share them in a way that is unique to what has gone on for them and their life. Same as when those words filter into the ears of the person receiving them. They cannot fully understand each and every word and their place of origin. See, all information is open to interpretation. I love sharing what I have learned. Once upon a time, yes, I did have the belief that what I wanted to share is right for everyone. Now, though, I am of the understanding that it's okay to share our experiences, our knowledge, and our viewpoint as long as we don't get stuck in the belief that it is the be-all and end-all of such knowledge, that it's every single person on this planet, that everyone's life will change because of it. We are not all the same. What we hear and see, it hits us differently. There is always a choice to be made about whether it is right or not. All of that has helped me define my learning process. It most certainly has helped to discern what is right for me and what isn't. I can leave behind anything I know deep down is not for me and that I don't need. Just because someone amazing says that you need to do this or you need to do that, it doesn't actually mean that you have to. There is way too much information floating around these days. Some of it's contradictory and some of it is very time consuming. If we listen to everyone about all we should be doing, then we would have no time left for anything else. I read a great book a couple of years ago called The 5 a.m. Club, and it's by Robin Sharma. I really did enjoy the lessons throughout the whole book. It really was a great book. I loved all of it. But ultimately, I found the routine too strict. There just didn't seem to be any room to flow. There was no room to incorporate myself into the routine. But that's my interpretation of it. I did the routine for a little while until I realized it wasn't right for me. Has it worked for others? Well, that I can't say, but I would think so. And I've read so many books in the last few years to support my growth and my learning and my development. Some have stuck with me, but others not so much, and that's okay. I thoroughly enjoyed reading them. And I'm going to put a link in the show notes for you to have a look at all of the books that I've read over the last few years. See if any you might like to read yourself. All right. So enough of my babbling for now. Let's get to the nitty-gritty of it. Here's how I have learnt to love my body as it is right now, in all of its wonderful wobbly glory. I have let go of what I don't need or want. I know wholeheartedly that I can change anything, like anything that I don't like about myself. I can find the answers that I'm looking for by going within. I am deserving of feeling better and being better, especially feeling better. That my body is so much more capable than I ever have given it credit for. That my body is so much more than what it looks like. That even though it sucks sometimes, and it certainly sucked for a very long time, that this is the body that I was meant to have and to use for this exact purpose. My body loves to move, it loves to run and exercise, and it loves to feel strong. And I've gotten to know my body in a more loving way. I have worked very hard to get rid of the hatred and the self-loathing. And I don't have to care about, I really don't have to care about what others think of my body anymore. I do not have to look like anyone but me. My body deserves my love. I don't have to be jealous of skinny women anymore. I don't believe my shitty voice anymore. I've stopped punishing my body with huge amounts of food. I've realized that my emotions are important. I listen to my body. I learn what my body needs and wants. I have a conversation with my body, and I trust it to know what it wants and to tell me. I eat with love. I listen to how my body feels and why. I understand how powerful my body is. So powerful. This is a big one. I don't blame my body anymore. And I have an understanding of all that is within me because I am in control. I am powerful. And I connect to my loving voice to know and understand myself and my body more. I talk to myself in a kind and loving way. I have taught myself all of this through trial and error. Lots of trial, lots of error. But I never give up on myself. I keep going and I forgive myself and I forgive my body. And I know the difference between my loving voice and my shitty voice. I want to keep learning about who I am. I'm no longer scared of the woman I am inside. I'm no longer scared of who she was and all that she was. That this is a lifelong change. Unfortunately, I will never be done with the learning about myself. There is always going to be something. And that's okay. And that's quite a long list of things that I have done for myself. And there may even be some that I haven't even thought about. But all I can say is that my determination to know myself better has outweighed any chance of going back to the woman I was. Feeling just a little bit good has spurred me on to have more of it. believing I deserve all of this is the foundation from which I firmly place myself. There is no better place to be. I can see and feel all of it from here. My vision may not always be clear, but it is my job to clear the rubbish as it falls at my feet. And all of the above helps me to do that because I want to and I deserve to. But when those doubts and angst-ridden thoughts creep on back in, that's when I shout, shut the fuck up. So here's your exercise for this week. Do you like your body as it is right now? Why not? Write down all of the reasons why you possibly cannot love your body as it is right now, that you can't love the body that you have. Where have these reasons even come from? Are they even true? Ask yourself whether your body deserves love from you. Do you want to love your body more? And honestly, why do we even hate our bodies in the first place? There is no real rational reason for this. We have been taught to hate our bodies. So let's unteach ourselves. We absolutely, 100% without a doubt, deserve that. I reckon you are not the only one with so many fucked up thoughts. So I thank you for listening. And remember to keep on shouting, shut the fuck up. Until next time.